everything when it comes to stepping into self.
I don't even know how I'm going to structure this. My lighting is like, it's not doing what I wanted to do, but whatever. Okay. First of all, I look like a little girl with my hair like this. The lighting is so blinding. It makes me look pale. Beside the point. I wanted to give warm, as you can see it's blue in the back, a warm type of feel. Okay, so this is video 2, or my video diary. This is episode 2 of my video diary. And I explained in my last one, which was my first one, how it'll be very unconventional. Everything I do is very unconventional, really. But how it'll be set up, how it'll be structured, what will be discussing it, how it'll be presented, how it'll be edited. I also want to change my intro. Like, I don't know. I'm in a very like absorbing but resetting phase of my life. Especially now I've been in LA now for a year and 2 months now. Yes, time has gone by. I've been consistently in therapy since August. It is now December. I don't even want to say that I took a break per se, because me enjoying privacy, that's butter. Yeah. Me enjoying privacy or a period of silence is not a break. It's a process. It's a chapter 2, so I don't really like seeing it that way or describing it in that way, because I don't know, I just don't see it like that. I know that beyond that, though, the things that are priority and primary for me to actually maintain and focus, like my business, for example, that has always been pretty linear and consistent. So those who are connected with me through my business or know, or maybe are like part of the community, it's like a separate community, it's called the Freedom of my business, know that there's like an active blog, active brand ambassador program. What's the matter, my boo boo? Go sit down. Thank you. And yeah, priority, baby, important, my business, and yeah, and those who know, and those who don't, which probably means that they're probably not supposed to know. I don't know. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do, what I really want to say and show and focus on for this episode, is kind of recapping or touching into the pieces of myself from during this period of time. So maybe like summertime up until now. Different pieces, fun stuff, not so fun stuff, important stuff, not so important stuff, personal stuff, not so personal stuff, and also like this prep into this new reset that I definitely want to confidently step into for 2023. Now what I'm about to do is just like a cute hairstyle, so that it's like a really good mix of like B-roll, BTS, update, recap. You get to really see what's going on and really where my head is at. But I don't know where to like start for the recap, because it's like so much already. So where do I want to start? I want to start, well, firstly, as you can see, I don't really have much hair, right? I cut my hair off. I think cutting my hair has a lot to do with like the beginning of the shift. That's probably what I'm gonna call this, the shift. But yeah, it has a lot to do with the beginning of the shift. Before moving out here to Los Angeles, don't know if I still have the video. If I do, I'll put it here. But I was washing my hair, and as I was washing my hair was falling out. It was coming out. It was coming out of my hair. I don't know if anybody has ever seen the movie What's Love Got to Do with It, which is kind of like a biopic on Tina Turner, of course played by Angela Bassett. And there's a scene where it's recounting an experience of Miss Tina Turner and Chaka Khan, where she was at a beauty shop and she was getting a perm, and they left the perm in for too long. And of course, anybody knows about perms, that's not supposed to happen because your hair could come out like gum, very gummy. So I only said this so that there's kind of like a visual to it, just in case I cannot find a video, because I was recording and I was so like, I just didn't like the feeling that it gave me when it was happening, and of course the feeling that it gave me when I revisited and I was looking at the video. I think I deleted it. I'm not sure, but yeah, but it felt like that. It reminded me of that. Like I was just, washing my hair and it was just kind of like coming out. And so it made me, first of all, I was panicking, right? Because I think anybody whose hair is falling out of their head, you're not really necessarily happy about that. So happiness was not the feeling I was feeling. It was a lot of fear and anxiety and confusion. But, clarity came quite quickly after that, because I really noticed that there is a clear reason why my hair is falling out. It's because I was stressed as fuck. This was mid-COVID or ending of the lockdown. And I feel like everybody was very much stressed during that time, if not experiencing some sort of like grief or pain or struggle in some sort of way. Everyone, I feel like, well, at least that's not like engulfed in like a bunch of privilege. Of all those things, experiencing such a shift and change in my life and my dynamics and my routine, and my mental health and my emotional health, it was just very stressful and depressing time, and the stress was affecting me physically to the point where my hair was falling out. So once that occurred, I felt like it was like a snowball effect of things that kind of just like, sometimes it's like that, like if you knock down a domino and like all the dominoes follow and it just like goes and goes and goes, doesn't necessarily stop, it just hits the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. And so I felt like that's what was happening. Once I noticed that my hair was falling out, I was just so bothered by that, because I already had a weird feeling in relationship with my hair. I wanted to cut my hair and I didn't, and then I decided to just keep holding on to my hair even though I wanted to cut it off, until the point where it was falling out, and technically I had no choice but to cut my hair. So that was one of the root reasons why I took my time shortening my hair, where my hair went from like super duper long and then it got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter until like I did a cut where the way that I did it, where it wasn't like this big seam because I was already cutting my hair, to where it's just like, oh, now this is just another version of, or another level of shortness of cutting my hair, like boom. And I enjoyed and I was very happy with cutting my hair because I wanted to do it anyways. I just think that the parallel experience of my hair also falling out created a fear, but also push to like move faster in that decision. And then I just kept up with cutting my hair to maintain my short length, because outside of that I just wanted a break for my hair, really, because as I believe, as people grow in every aspect, right, in every way, as a child or in high school or in college or once you get into your work life, like we change, we shift within our relationships, we shift within our likes, we shift within our wants. It happens all the time. But depending on the spaces that we're in, or depending on the levels of support that we have or don't have, the only difference is how much support or understanding or welcoming we have with these shifts. And I want to start it there with me cutting my hair, right? I feel like that has a lot to do with how I have to wake up every day and look at myself, so it has something to do with that. And I was very, very, and I am still very, very happy with the decision of cutting my hair, because it's making me discover different parts of my style and what I want to do, and not leaning so heavily on hair identity, and being more free and more open. Like even now, I'm about to start, whenever I actually start, I'm about to just do a cute like tulip ponytail style, maybe with one thing, because I always want to have my little bang out. Add some beads or something, because I'm in an awkward stage, because now I'm starting to work on growing my hair back, and I'm in a very, very awkward stage. Well, I just washed my hair, so it's like still very wet, and like you could tell the difference between like a defined hair and non-defined. But I just lost my train of thought. I really feel like this light is too harsh, honestly. Maybe that's better. But I feel like my hair is in this awkward stage, which I feel like anybody who's really cut their hair off know what this is. Like the awkward length stage where the hair is too long for short hairstyles, but too short for long hairstyles. And so you just kind of like just have to like wear it out, or maybe like roll it and have like this type of like kind of like straight look or whatever, because I don't even bother putting heat to this when I could just roll it, and I roll it, boom, like I don't need to, but yeah, but it's challenging me to rediscover and enjoy these different parts of myself, and welcoming different parts of myself, because that's literally what life is like, and it's literally part of the shift. Especially the shift now, like I'm shifting into my later 20-year-old years, and I don't know, I've just been very introspective, especially coming out to LA. Like I feel like the first couple months of me being out here, it was like kind of a little bit like a culture shock, where I was really kind of focused on just having fun, and which is okay. I feel like like have fun, and but after that I really want to think more long term, because moving from the East Coast, especially from like the area where I grew up in, and coming out here is a big deal, and it's a big difference, and I need to be very focused in what that means for me in my life, and what it is that I want to do for those that I love, for my partner, for my career, my future, my wants, my desires. My background isn't the same as most people probably, or a lot of people probably, what I thought, pursuing the same, I want to say like artistic path or whatever. Plainly said, it's just people with more privileges than others, and privileges don't necessarily mean just monetary. A lot of times it means monetary, but I feel like, and I believe that when I reference privileges, and especially when it comes to peers or those that's either in the same industry as me, or around the same, maybe pursuing related or the same ideals or career path, privileges range from monetary to access to resources to knowledge to support, and support will range from literal support to emotional support to mental support. So there, it's branches of what privilege means, and how that applies to how people pursue or move through their pursuit of their careers. And it's things like that that have made me reevaluate what it is specifically that I really, really want, without getting too lost in the sauce of certain other things, you know? And yeah. So much. Okay. That being said, what's the next thing I want to move into? I know that. Oh, well, firstly, I've been cooking so much. Not firstly, what is this, like secondly, thirdly? Even though I've always been cooking, if anybody, like, especially during the lockdown, I was really, really cooking. I was a cooking fool. I was Chef Boyardee during the lockdown. If anybody had followed my, I don't know if anybody calls it now, but my Finsta then, on my Finsta, it's like all of my like recipes, well, not even all of them, a lot of them, of my recipes and different things that I made. I'm talking about from scratch, vegan, like cool ass stuff that I really enjoyed and I had the time to do because it was lockdown. And then of course when the lockdown wasn't lockdown anymore, life wasn't the same, and so I couldn't really engage in that as much as I did before. And I've been picking that back up because of how much it makes me happy, how much I enjoy it, and how much I love like watching people that I love eat my food because it's good and I cook very well. Okay. Outside of that, I've been really focused on building, again, if you have in some way been on this journey with me and seen a lot of my other videos, especially my like talking head videos where like I'm explaining like my dreams and my aspirations and my goals and my wants, more specifically like when I was doing like my vision boards, and this was like prior to COVID and the lockdown, and then a little bit during and before, after. And I'm talking about the things that like I want and ultimately am working towards, but am okay with the chapters that I swim through in order to get there, because that's life. Like, sometimes you just have to get through chapter 1 in order to get to chapter 2 and 3, and of course chapter 10 is nothing like chapter 1, but it's all part of the same story. So yeah, so that's really important, because where I stand now, especially feeling like I have stepped out of hibernation, or a couple hibernations, but all for like a greater purpose of understanding myself and my goals and my wants, but also having to shift with the world, because the world has been changing so much and so fast, because like real shit is happening like in real time. Like, really, I don't think people talk enough about how it's definitely affecting people. Like, actually, let me bring this up, because I said that I've been in therapy since August. Consistency, right? Consistently. Like, not just like, oh, I went, it was cool, and then left. Like, just like anything that you would do if you were to change your lifestyle, you're not really, or add a lifestyle, you're not really going to get much of visual difference or change unless you are consistently doing it in order to see that change or to see that retention. But I came across this tweet, and someone says, because I am proud of being in therapy, but I'm also realistic about what therapy is and what it means in general, and then like what it means like for the community and the effects on community, well, at least the Black community, the community that I know, like on society as a whole, and then my community, like, you know, just being realistic, not being like in a judgy or like I hate everything way and like I'm a super like, you know, alchemist, which I am, but like still. So someone tweeted, their name is People Oracle, the People's Oracle on Twitter, and they said, I wanted to tweet this for a few days. If everyone needs therapy, then the problems everyone is dealing with are systemic and cultural. It's too big to be confronted alone between two people. It's actually a grave injustice to make individuals responsible for this. They go on to say, as someone, this is someone else who commented under it, as someone who has been consistently going to therapy for years and working on myself, let me tell you that there is only so much individual introspection and healing you can do when the structural forces and external events contributing to mental illness continue acting on you. They go on to say, individualized wellness culture gaslights people into thinking the problem and the solution lies within themselves. The truth is, we literally have a sick society, and it needs to get better for us to truly be well. An example of this, right? I wish people realize that suicide prevention isn't always posting the hotline. It's adequate housing, it's basic health care, including dental and vision. It's affordable living, proper care and addiction, proper care post-addiction. It's everything we need to live. And I say this to say, because being in therapy for this long, the longest I've ever been, in a new environment, right? I'm all the way across the country from what I've always known. There is so much reflection that I have had, and boundary setting and change within me, and also allowing myself and forgiving myself for changing and being a being of change, because that's literally been my whole life, my whole journey. And especially if people have been following me for the years that I've been on this path, which is since like 2015, 2016, and I mean seriously, or more publicly since 2015, 2016, but my whole life. It says a lot. It says a lot. And though I understand on a micro level the importance of therapy, I know that in this society, and this is the American Black community that I know of, it is rooted in capitalism and control, and sometimes judgment, a lot of times judgment. And that really blurs the lines of what real difference and change people can make within themselves, because those things still exist in the background of these constructs. You know, there are indigenous versions of therapy, right? Because people make this comment all the time. Why would I pay someone to listen to me? Which I understand that perspective completely, because I used to feel that same way. Why would I pay somebody to care about what I'm saying? Why is it that someone gets paid to show kindness to someone else? It's something to feel, it's something to question, but it's also something that is just a very real truth that exists here in front of us. You know, there's not much we can do on a micro level, right? We could do things on macro, there's not much we could do on a macro level. There's many things you could do on micro levels, right? And that's the issue with things that are systemic. Like, I love art, and that's always been the root and the push and the want of everything that I've done to this date. Literally, it has been for the like sake and push and want of creating, no matter what that creation is, right? Creating with the physical, creating with hair, creating with hands, creating with words, creating with body language, creating, which is ultimately like literally a reflection of the higher source. Just creating.